The following content is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. You're listening to the Everyday Therapy Podcast. I'm JC Rader.
And I'm Julianne Schroeder.
And we're therapists bringing you honest conversations around emotional wellness and self-development.
Inspired by our personal experiences in therapy and because of our clients, we realize therapy has so much to offer both on and off the couch. Listen for tips and tools to navigate all the challenges that life throws your way.
To give us feedback on topics and guests, or for more information on our community events, counseling, or online services, contact us at everydaytherapypodcast.com. Hello. Let's give a quick shout out to our supporters before we get started today. So the Lifeology group is a group private practice for counseling, and they are amazing. If you've ever thought about trying out counseling, they have counselors starting at $30, interns all the way up to experienced licensed clinicians, and they are all over the DFW Metroplex, as well as Austin, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Fort Worth. They are everywhere. Central Dallas, and they offer early morning appointments, late evening appointments, and weekends. So there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to try out therapy and see what it has to offer for you. We are huge advocates for them. I train there, and they're amazing.
Yes, they are, and they pride themselves on having creative solutions to stuck problems. And part of one of their solutions to mental health and wellness is they've created the Lifeology Institute for Psychotherapeutic Yoga, the LISPY School for short. So that's really honoring the Eastern and Western approach to mental health and well-being through training therapists and yoga teachers in psychotherapeutic yoga to really integrate, once again, the mind and the body and address both. So they do have a couple spots left in their May cycle of training to be a 200-hour psychotherapeutic yoga clinician.
Yeah, Julianne is an instructor there. We're both graduates from there, so couldn't speak highly enough of that program as well. So thank you guys for supporting us. We support y'all. But yeah, let's get into our topic today. We have Koya Webb on. And we got to meet her recently at a wellness expo, and she was so amazing. She did like the greatest meditation. I was like sobbing. It was so beautiful. So, hi Koya, how are you? Oh, I think your mic's muted still.
Hi,
There we go.
wonderful.
But your smile is so beautiful. We'll just look at that.
Oh, I'm so wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, yeah. You're such a busy gal. I think you're like the most famous person we've ever had on our podcast with your almost 1 million followers on Instagram. That's crazy.
Oh, you're so sweet. It's such an honor to be on. And I feel like, I'm just a small town girl. I was raised in Humboldt, Tennessee, and I'm so glad I can inspire so many, but I just feel like a small town country girl at the end of the day. And I'm just so grateful that this message and the things that I've learned along the way, I'm able to share.
Yeah. No, and I really felt that whenever we met you. I was like, oh my gosh, you're so real and authentic, and you just feel like my friend already.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah. So
Your best friend's in her book. So
Thank you.
And so you are a celebrity holistic health coach and yoga instructor. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into that?
Well, it was I didn't, start out as a little girl saying, I want to be like a celebrity holistic health coach and yoga instructor. As a young girl, I always wanted to be like a nurse or physical therapist. And, those were my dreams in the beginning. And my dad would say, you're going to be a teacher. Because even when I was a little girl, everything I learned, I teach. I have three brothers and sisters, an older brother, a younger sister. And, people in the community, I'd always be teaching and sharing. But I was like, I don't want to be a teacher. Teachers are boring. And this just seems like a very boring job. And so fast forward to when I first got injured in track and field in college, I found yoga. And then when I found yoga, it helped me heal. I got better. And then I moved to California to train for the Olympics. I got injured again. So I was like, you know what? I need to go back to yoga. It healed me the first time. I'm sure it will do it again. And it did. But the second time I was like, you know what? I need to look more into this yoga thing. It's pretty awesome. So as I started to learn the power of yoga to help us heal mentally, spiritually, and physically, of course, I started to share it. And so here I am, 37 years later in my life, and I am a teacher. And my dad was right, and he knew it, of course, because he could see it since I was a young age. And then how you don't like to say your parents are right, but they were. So honestly, that's my journey. I just love to share what I learned, and I love people. And honestly, and I like to see people healthy. I remember when my father, the first time I saw, he had a hernia, and I cried for a whole day because I thought he was going to die, and I just wished I could heal him. And that's what made me wanted to go into a healing profession like nurse or physical therapist. But I was like, when I went to shadow them in college, they were like, oh, they make a lot of money, but no time with their family, and I didn't want that. And so I shadowed a physical therapist, and they had more flexible hours, but still they didn't get the same kind of time with their family. So the only person that I saw and shadowed that was happy with their career was a personal trainer. So I was like, I want to be a personal trainer. So I actually started off as a personal trainer, helping people get their health. My biggest success at that time was helping a man lose 200 pounds in a year. And it was so fun. It was like a science for me. It was fun. It was great. But I remember going to multiple clients and them saying, I don't want to work out today. I just want to talk. And talking with them and enjoying talking through problems and listening. So then I decided to get my life coaching certification. I became a life coach. And then I kind of married the two, holistic health, yoga, and now I teach holistic health and yoga. And that's what I do for everyone. It's mental, spiritual, and physical health and wellness.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you can see the value in all of those connecting together.
Yeah.
And then thinking about how you yourself have transformed through your own experiences. Can we go back and, I want to hear more about that, I guess those really challenging times in your life where, you're an athlete, that's your identity. And then when you get injured, I can't even imagine just what that does to you.
Right. I felt like my life was over. It's like you spend all this time training and studying, and you put your heart and soul, whether it was track and field for me, but some people put it into their job or their relationship or singing or baking pottery or brick and bread, whatever it is. Whenever you put your heart and soul into something, and then one day, it's over, whether it be a divorce or a change of career or someone passes, like whatever it is, it's traumatic. It's like you think like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? Like I just spent like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years in this one thing. I was devastated. I was like, I can't breathe. I don't know what to do. I didn't want to be here because I felt like my whole purpose was just snatched in one day. And it's just like, I was kind of upset with the universe, upset with myself. I was upset with everything and everyone. And it was a very sad and dark place. And but the beauty I see in it now is now I can relate when people get into those dark places and not tell them, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. Actually, when traumatic things happen, you have to process those emotions. And my counselor recommending that I go to yoga helped me process those emotions of feeling like I had nothing to give the world, feeling like I had no purpose, feeling like my life was over. I had to process those emotions because they were valid with me spending all my time working towards this goal, and then one day it going poof, you know? And so now I can sit with people and their emotions and breathe with them through it, which is what my counselor sent me to yoga for. I thought she sent me to learn how to be a yogi. And when I went into the class, I'm seeing all these people stretching and setting. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm an athlete. Like, I'm not flexible. I can't touch my toes. Like, what is this? Why am I here? Please, someone yank me out of this class. And it was so mind numbing. And now I imagine people look at me like this when I'm doing my yoga and my hands are like, I can never, people say it all the time, I can never be as flexible as you. I was like, honey, I did not start with this way.
Right.
Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. It just takes consistency. And I feel like having those rough times and having that injury and going through the heartache and pain definitely helps me relate to other people who feel stuck, who feel like, I feel so down. I don't think I'm going to get out of this place, who feel hopeless, who feel like, this is it for me. This was my thing. This is what I was going to do with my life. So now I might as well just like give up. And I can talk to those people because that's not the end. And there's always something else. And at the end of the day, we are love and we can do many things. We are dynamic. We are spiritual. We are, energy. And that energy can transform into whatever we decided to do. And yoga is what helped me. And when I was in that class and struggling and looking around me, feeling super intimidated by all these very flexible people, the teacher came to me and she said, you know what? I just want you to breathe. And she took a deep inhale and exhale with me. And I was like, oh, that felt so good. Because this whole time since the injury, I was just in my head. Like, what am I going to do? I feel terrible. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at the universe. I'm mad at, why didn't I think of like not to train so hard? Why didn't I know, like, why didn't I read about, all these questions, all these judgments, all these frustrations. I wasn't even fully breathing. I don't ever remember, but I know in that moment it felt so good. I felt like I hadn't done it in a while.
Yeah,
So
I have to have more.
Yeah.
yes, I was like, I need more. So I
It
just
seems
kept
like you released that
breathing.
pressure and that pressure
Yeah,
that you should have, could have done something to prevent it.
exactly. And I think we all feel like in hindsight when traumatic things happen, whether it's a like car accident or someone back, what could I have done more? What could I have said more? And that's honestly, it's understandable. But the more that you do that, the more you really take your self-esteem, your confidence, your soul, which is love, and we're all just doing the best that we can. So the more that you beat yourself up, or if you're beating someone else up, it just really takes the life out of you. It takes the love out of you. And that's just fear-based thinking of, you could have done something to prevent it instead of, okay, this happened. Now what can I do to not be a victim of this circumstance, but to be a creator? What can I create from what has happened to me? And that's what I learned. And that's what I also share in my book. It's like my main quote, one of my favorite chapters, and my favorite, one of my favorite chapters and my favorite quotes is, I'm not a victim, I'm a creator. And once you take the power into your own hands and don't feel like a victim and process that anger, process that rage, process that sadness, you become a creator of your life again. Because that's where you were in the beginning, when you were doing everything you loved and whatever led you to where you were, whether it be a family thing or a work thing. And then you can start to turn it around and get back on that love vibration.
Wow.
I love that. Yeah. To move from helpless into hope through creating action. But before we get to the action, we have to acknowledge our humanity and the ability to be able to feel all those feelings.
Yeah.
Koya, can I ask for you? I really like to. I just get to know like your story. I'm curious. Growing up, was it easy for you to express emotions, or what was that like?
I think growing up, my father and my father was very strict. My mother was very loving, but I really didn't see them cry often. So they really didn't. They argued from here and there, but really not very emotional. Like, my mother wasn't crying every month, or, it was really my parents, I saw them as very strong. Again, my mother more loving, my daddy more strict, but also both of them very strong, very loving. And so, no, I didn't. I didn't really process my emotions that much, and I didn't. Also, we had very traditional. We're in the traditional, like, dad went to work every day, mom stayed at home with the kids. We learned a lot at home. My mom taught us a lot, like, in nature, took us out in nature. We played games. So, although I feel like I had a really good upbringing and I'm grateful for everything my parents did, I don't think we talked about emotions a lot. I don't think we connected a lot other than the roles. Like, my dad went to work, my mom took care of home, and that was it. We really didn't have deep conversations until I started going to college, until I started learning how to talk and process my emotions.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm curious for you, Koya, whenever you said you're counselors, so whenever you went to therapy, can you share a little bit about what that experience was like? Was it hard, like, or like reaching out and saying, I need therapy? And then throughout the process, what did you get from it?
I didn't get therapy. Like, the counselor was like the school counselor, meaning
Yeah.
I got kicked out of class.
Okay.
And she's like, basically, if you don't want to fail, you're going to have to take another elective. And that elective needs to be yoga because you're super stressed out. You're crying through class. I mean, I would be like, and just burst out crying. Like, I was really, really, really sad. And the teacher, she was like, I love you, Koya, but I can't have you cry. It's so disruptive. And so she sent me to the counselor. And the counselor was not a therapist.
Yeah.
She was just more so like, the type of counselor that kind of positions people in the right classes. And
Academic
when you get in
counselor
trouble. She was like an academic
Right.
counselor. So she did sit and try to talk to me, but I was closed off. I didn't really want to talk. I couldn't talk. I just cried. And I was just like, I told her what happened. Like, I got injured. I don't know what to do, and I was just a mess. That I couldn't really talk to her, and she really did exactly what she needed to do, which was send me to yoga. But she didn't really. I don't think she was able to really process what I was going through. She did try to talk to me, but because I didn't share my emotions, I was just like, I can't do what I love to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. Like, well, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to feel?
Yeah, seems like total overwhelm in crisis mode. Like, all you needed was to breathe and to be in
That's
order to
really
get there.
just it. Like, I needed to connect with my soul again. And when I was a young girl, when I first got baptized, I felt that spirit, that energy, that chill sensation you get all over your body. And I feel like going through school, I was definitely connected, but I was focused more mental and physical, not spiritual per se. I feel like I've always been a very spiritual person naturally, but I wasn't necessarily connecting on a deeper level every day like I do now. I was just focused on training and focused on being good to people. And I think we all have a soul, right? We all have that natural connection. But just like working out, we all have bodies. We are all physical, but we all don't go to the gym every day. We all don't dance every day. So that's the difference. We all have a soul, but we don't actually practice spiritual fitness or spiritual health on a regular basis. And so just practicing yoga alone, whether people come for the handstands or the asana or the breath or meditation, you're still going to get a deeper spiritual connection. And that's what I love about it.
Yes, no, I would agree too. And getting into yoga for me really like helped with the spiritual disconnect that I had and has been, just really made a difference in my life. Can I ask for you that spiritual connection, how that benefits you in the daily? Like, what does it do for you?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, when I wake up in the morning and you can get caught on social media. You can get caught with an alarm clock or people coming into your space, depending on if you live alone or with someone. But when you take time in the morning to meditate, to connect with yourself, I feel like that's the most important thing you can do. So to me, it gives me groundedness and direction. So whenever I'm trying to figure things out, a lot of people ask on the outside, but our souls are unique and no one has the same soul. Like, we all are different. Even if you're a twin, you have a different soul. So I feel like taking a moment to connect with that soul every single day is going to help guide your path and let you come from a more intentional and centered space. So for me, meditation and breath work really helps you connect with your soul. And at the end of the day, I believe in the Trinity, the mind, the body, the spirit, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And I feel like the Holy Spirit is here to guide us. And connecting with that every day, I feel like it keeps you grounded and intentional when you're living.
I love that it provides direction and, focus and reliance on that when we can't always trust ourselves.
Right. Because the thing is, like, we are just going off of most of the times what society wants us to do, what everyone else is doing, what our parents want us to do, what our significant other wants us to do. We're just doing, right?
Yeah.
And spirituality allows you to be. It allows you to check in, and you can be in your truth, and you can move with intuition. Like, I feel, you can be, you can feel, you see the difference? Then moving, and you can, respond versus reacting, because you know that, hey, I'm a love being, I'm in my truth. Now I don't have to rush. I don't have to worry. I can just be love, and things are going to happen. Chaos, bad things, good things. But if I stay in this love vibration, I'm safe, right? I am safe, and I can get through anything. And that's the truth that I try to give people, especially when people have gone through trauma, because you feel unsafe and you feel unprotected and you feel like, I don't know what to do. But once you ground in that truth as I am safe, I am loved, now how can I move from here? It's a very much more stable place. But if you're just focused on, okay, I'm not where this other person is, or I'm not where I'm supposed to be based on society, based on where my parents, based on where my partner wants to be, that takes you out of your soul and into your body and into your mind. And it can make you judge yourself. It's just a separation from love. And it's the fear that I won't be loved or accepted if I'm not A, B, C, or D. Right. And that it just trickles down to low self-worth, low self-value. And that's a very, very tough place to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of pain and discomfort. I'm curious, like, I'm sure that this is kind of some of the information you're teaching your clients and like you've worked on yourself. Are there any concrete tools that are your favorite that you give to your clients that you do for yourself every day? Obviously, meditation and yoga. But I don't know, anything else that would be helpful for people to hear about to find that love? And
I think pranayama too. I want to make sure, like, in the morning, like the breath, that is the most important thing. Even in meditation and yoga, it starts with the breath. So pranayama, prana means life, and it's like moving that oxygen. Like, what happens when we die? We stop breathing, right? Stop breathing, and then unfortunately, like, if our heart stops, then that's it, right? So focusing on the breath, connecting with the breath, that is number one. So I would say anytime someone's feeling upset, trauma, just like I did in that class, just breathe. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And do that 10 times. Anytime you feel anxiety, anytime you feel frustrated, anytime someone cuts you off and gives you the middle finger, breathe. Just breathe. Trust me.
Yeah. You take back the situation like you're in control when you're in control of your breath, right?
You just breathe. Yeah. So that's number one. So just breathing and processing. And then, of course, number two is just sitting in stillness. If you can breathe like that for a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes every single day, it can help process some of the stress. If you're like stressed out or moving fast, and I suggest that every single day. And then if you can add to that a little movement, whether it be dance or yoga, what things do is they trigger your happy hormones, right? These endorphins that make you feel better and help you process stress. And most everything that is detrimental to the physical body, especially, is caused by stress. You eat a lot because of stress. You take pills because of stress, like all these things, but it stems from stress, right? So if you could do this breath work, pranayama, meditation, and yoga, it can help lower the levels of stress. And if you're not into yoga, you can run or jog or dance.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. But
no matter what you're doing, breathing and focusing on breathing is so important. So that's the major tools I give everyone across the board, because anyone can do it. You can have no arms and legs and breathe, right? Anyone can do it. And I feel like that's the universal, is the breath work and learning different breath work practices. And the 4-part breath is the one I teach everyone. 4 seconds inhale, hold the breath for 4 seconds, and 4 seconds exhale. That's a 4-part breath. So inhale, hold, and exhale. That feels so good.
It does.
It's one of our favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so simple, like the steps that you just gave to like stay grounded, to stay connected to yourself. It's so simple. Why do you think it's so hard for people to
Keep up with.
keep up with it, to do that,
Well, because the thing is, I want to give you a million other different tips, right?
Yeah.
But I have to be honest with myself. What tips work for every single person? It's breathing, and I want to tell you a million different things. You can walk, you can jog, you can swim, you can play volleyball, you can do all these things. And at the end of the day, you might stop, you might quit, you might travel a lot. What can you do? You can close your eyes and breathe. Eye yoga. Eye yoga is good too, especially as much as we're on our computers.
Yeah.
And
Remember
I think
that
I
in the
did it that
meditation?
day when we did the
Yes,
meditation,
you
but
did.
you just close your eyes. So right now, if you're listening, close your eyes.
unless you're
And
driving.
you look, unless you're driving. Don't close your eyes if you're driving. Close your
Just
eyes
one
and look
eye.
all the way down, as far as you can down with your eyes closed, and then look all the way to the left, as far as you can to the left, like you're looking out of bounds, but keeping your eyes closed, and then look all the way up, as far as you can up, keeping the eyes closed, looking all the way up, and then all the way to the right, as far as you can to the right, keeping those eyes closed, and then make big circles. Oh, that feels amazing. Big circles, and then go the opposite direction. Big circles. And then go zigzags, left and right, up and down. So this is something that can really help with eye strain, especially like I'm on the phone, we're looking at each other, like especially being in this, we're approaching 2020. So we're on our phones, we're on our computers. So doing that eye yoga really does help relieve stress.
And you don't need those blue light blockers. Maybe if we just do eye yoga.
Yeah.
I'd use both.
Okay.
We need it.
Yes, yeah.
I love that, Koya. I feel like it's, keeping it simple. We talk a lot about wellness overload and trying to do, run and eat healthy, and which of course, like try and do all those things, but breaking it down to those like very basic things.
Yeah, you can maintain.
Yeah. I think, I have a lot of different modalities on my website, in my app, and in my book, but it's like at the end of the day, explore all of those things. Explore the things I have, explore the things you have, explore all the things. Keep the breath, keep the focus on the breath, keep some quiet time to self, and then allow yourself to, if you find something that you love, do it. And if you don't love it, find some other type of movement or activity that you love. Don't be afraid to switch it up. Those are my biggest tips, because those are the tips that I feel like are lifelong, not just for the moment. Oh yeah, Zumba's hot now. Let's Zumba. Absolutely, go Zumba. Yoga. Let's do Ashtanga. Let's do Yin. Let's do Kundalini. Do it all. Do whatever makes you happy, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't make you happy, then it probably is not going to work.
Yeah.
So I want people to breathe and take time for themselves and do what makes them happy, and that's what's gonna last the lifetime.
Yes. Amen to that.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
We're going to ask her about her book?
Yes.
Okay,
I want to
perfect.
talk about, let your fears make you fierce. I love the title. Oh my gosh. Because I struggle a lot with anxiety. And so, and I just remember from a very young age, just worrying about everything, my house burning down, my friends being mad at me, peeing my pants. I talk about that a lot on here, all the things. And so, tell us a little bit about your book. And
Well, we all have fears. And like you said, like, it's easy to let your fears kind of overwhelm you. And that's when anxiety comes in, because you keep replaying like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, in your head, right? So when you realize, okay, I have this fear. So the first thing is to acknowledge that fear. Like, I have this fear, but don't own it. Acknowledgement and owning are two different things. I'm a person who blank. I'm a person who pees my pants. I'm a person who does this. That's owning it. I peed my pants, or I interrupted, or I was disrespectful. That's acknowledging I was, but that's not claiming it. When we claim things outside of ourselves other than love that we don't like, it unfortunately ingrains that in our DNA on a mental and thought levels. And we all know thoughts are things. So if I'm functioning in a way that isn't ideal, I'll acknowledge it. I did that. That wasn't good. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want to vibrate at that frequency. So the frequency starts in the mind. It starts with our thoughts. So it's okay to acknowledge and own, like say, oh, that happened, but don't claim it as who you are, because that is really just like ingraining something that you don't, especially if it's something that you don't want. If something that you want, claim it all day. Like, I'm successful, I'm abundant, I'm beautiful. But if it's something like I'm a procrastinator, right? Like, and that's one that I say all the time. And look, it's not about being perfect too. Like I say, what are the things that I say all the time? I say, oh, I'm a procrastinator. And then but when I catch myself, I say, you know what? I get things done and I schedule and I have a team that helps me get things done on time, right? I call it plussing yourself. So whenever you catch yourself saying something negative, like I'm this and I'm that, and it's not to your greatest good, plus yourself and say, I am working on being on time, instead of saying I am always late. I'm working on being on time. I talk too much. I'm working on being a better listener. You know? So that way you are positively affirming who you're trying to step into. And that, otherwise you're claiming that lower vibration as this is who I am. And guess what? Your body hears you. Your cells hear you. We've all saw that, the YouTube video. If you haven't, go look at the YouTube video on water, effects of water. Yes. And you know that the things you say, the things you write, they affect your cells, your DNA, your energy. So we have to keep that positive affirmation going all the day, all the time.
Yeah, I remember there was another one for plants. I don't know if you've seen that
one.
Yes. Yeah, where you like speak love to plants, or like versus criticism, and it changes like how they develop.
Yeah, it changes the structure of plant DNA, human DNA. Yeah. Children who are hugged and loved and held and who listen to classical music and things like that, they vibrate at a higher frequency. They're healthier. They feel better. Children who are separated from their parents and they don't have that love and affection, they don't do as well. They get sick more often, unfortunately, and all these things. Like, love is so important, and most of all, self-love. So telling ourselves, like, even like, okay, this is funny, but even after that conference, I never knew I had anxiety, right? And so after that conference, I was like, oh my God, I got anxiety. What? I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? No, I don't. I'm feeling a little like excited in this moment. And I literally had to step out of a cycle of anxiety, because any of us can be anything in the world, because that's how connected we are. We are all one. So if one person is experiencing something, we can experience it. Let's say someone is experiencing happiness and they're smiling and they're looking, what do you want to do? You want to smile and you want to get excited and you want to talk, right? But if someone is sad and they're like, oh my God, I'm feeling like this, you're like, oh my God, you start feeling that way too. It's contagious. So the way we function, the things we say, is absolutely contagious. Sometimes you can ground and block yourself from being absorbing, but if you're empathic like me, honey, it's hard, right?
Yeah, we get you on a whole nother level.
Right? Yes. So you have to be careful when you start to pick up the vibration of other people around you, especially when you're inspired by them and you look up to them. You can pick up similar habits, and you can pick up their negative habits. When they might have positive ones to counterbalance, sometimes I notice that people who are really into social media, they're picking up the people they're inspired by all their negative habits, and they don't have the positive ones to balance them out. So they're like, why am I not getting where this person is? It's like, well, you're picking up all those negative habits of working too long, not getting enough sleep, drinking a ton of coffee, but you're not doing the green drink. You don't have the therapist. You don't have all the other things that are balancing out. So unfortunately, it's not going to work. So I tell people, even when I say things that are not so great about myself, don't attach to those. Just know, like, I'm human, but follow all the positive stuff. Follow all the healthy stuff. When I say, I know I shouldn't do this, don't do it, you know? And that's why I share those things. But I just try to keep it real with people and just understand that we are all human. We all have flaws. But when you find yourself having a flaw, it's okay to not acknowledge it, but do not own it. Just acknowledge it and just let it go.
I love that. Is this all in your book? Like all this goodness, or
my
what
goodness,
else
so
is
much
in there?
is in my book. Let Your Fears Make You Fierce is all about taking all these things, all these fears, all these challenges, all these things that can set us back, and allowing yourself to create lemonade out of lemons, taking those lemons and putting a little sugar on it. And the sugar is yoga. The sugar is meditation. The sugar is breath work so that you can make lemonade. So I'm giving practical tools each and every chapter, from music to dance to chakra work to, of course, we've talked about meditation, yoga, but I also take people through finding a mentor, reaching out for help, like all of the things that in every chapter, I share my own personal stories and how I've had these challenges and also how I got through them, hoping that some of the things that I've used to help me get over challenges will also help the reader as well.
Well, this seems like a book that will cure all fears.
I think honestly, I feel like there's so many tools that I tell people just choose the one that really resonates with you the most. And I really do honestly believe if people pick and choose and go back to the book, it's like workbook style. So you can like write in it and turn the pages down. It's not meant to be like this cute book that you just leave on your coffee table.
Yeah.
No, you can tear pages out. I don't care. Right? I want it to be something that is used like a yoga mat, right? Like yoga mat, I want you to use it. And I really do think it can help people be fierce and live in their truth and live in love.
Yeah, it's so sounds so empowering to use something that is so like difficult and challenging and to be fierce, to kind of level up, to like be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. And I think we all have that possibility. And I think we all, unfortunately, experience doubt and worry and feeling like we're not worthy and not enough. But if we do it together, and that's another thing I talk about in the book, reach out to someone, develop your own fierce groups. And so my company is Get Loved Up, love yourself, love others, and love the world. So we're going to be creating Get Loved Up meetups all over the world.
Will you say that again? Get loved up.
Love yourself, love others, love the world.
It's beautiful.
But
will you make sure there's one in Dallas?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys
great.
can.
Or we can head that. Yeah. Let us help you.
You guys have to head up.
We would love that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we're on the record with that.
Yeah. It's on the record.
They're gonna host Get Loved Up Dallas. We're gonna do this.
Yes.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Yes.
Because it really does take a couple of leaders to hold space. And that's why I created the yoga teacher training, my Get Loved Up yoga teacher training, to really, you all have the tools already because you're therapists and you're teachers, but to usher in more people to heal through their trauma and then hold space for others to heal. Like Nelson Mandela said, each one has to teach one. And so as we learn, we also share, which is how I became a teacher. What my father knew all along. That's my passion. And I think we all honestly can be teachers if we choose to be, and just take what we've learned and share it with our families, our friends, and our communities.
Yeah, and to teach with love, passion, and humility, which I think you exude.
Absolutely. Yeah, without judgment, knowing that we all, no matter where we elevate to and on our journey, we all have hard times and we all have fears. And I think when you come from that level of connection, whether your fear is the same as mine, there's no judgment, right? It's all still fear. And so I feel like when you come at that in a community level, people feel welcome and they want to be a part. And that's what we need, because now we're separating and segregating into groups and things like that, where we really just need to come together as one and realize we all can heal together.
Absolutely. We just spoke with Liz Moody the other day from the Wellness Expo, and she said the number one thing for her in healing her anxiety was community and making sure that every day she's like interacting with somebody. So I think
so important.
Yeah, everybody can kind of resonate with that, and it's so hard in this day and age to like have a community because we're so individualistic, and so having this, kind of guidance of like how to do that and like a set group to connect with. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I have a template and I will be sharing it with you all.
Yes.
And I'll be sharing it with anyone that wants to set up a Get Loved Up meetup anywhere in the world. I have a template and going over the intention setting and the breath work and the movement and the sharing circles, where everyone is heard, everyone speak. It's not just one person. Everyone at everyone Get Loved Up meetup gets a chance to talk. And I think sometimes, especially sometimes we can become the talker all the time. Sometimes we can become the listener all the time. But in these meetups, you get to do both. You get to listen, you get to speak. So it's a balance, and you get to be in community. So I'm excited about Get Loved Up Dallas.
Yes, no, we're serious. So yeah,
Get
we'll look
Loved Up
out
all
and
over the world.
yeah, we'll try to do you right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I just love the quote that I read from your book, how to turn your obstacles into seeds of growth. I think that that's so beautiful of like, and what your book's all about is, yeah, just taking those challenges and using them for growth and betterment. That's so, yeah, we can't wait to be a part of that.
Yeah. And your book is on pre-sale right now, is that correct?
Yes, people can pick
okay.
it up right now. Just
Okay.
go to my website, koyawebb.com, and they can order the book, and we have some cool gifts. And if they check me out on social, I'm going to be doing giveaways, like massive giveaways.
Yes.
I mean, you order like 2 or 3 books, or if you order it for your community, like if you're having a meetup, or if you want to have it for your church or your job or whatever, I have really special giveaways that I'm doing for people. And I'm fully supporting people that decide to have it for community and meetups, because that's really how I feel like it can be consumed, and we can be consistent with it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's such a generous heart that you have. And we are so thankful that you're generous with your time, especially during this season. So yeah, much love to you. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah. Are there any last words, Koya, that you would like to share with our listeners, or anything you could think of that you would have wished that you would have known when you were younger and kind of that athlete? What would that be?
Well, I think just knowing how important self-care is, and knowing how important it is to take time to nurture myself, and knowing that I shouldn't be just, giving from my cup into depletion. I should fill my cup and give from the overflow, which is what I learned from the speaker, Lisa Nichols. And she was like, you want to give from the overflow, and you'll always have enough to give. Don't give until you deplete, because I love loving people. I love helping people. But sometimes I would do it to the detriment of myself. And I do believe us as women, sometimes we can do that, just give. And men as well, just give, provide, but don't take the time to really nurture ourselves as people. And that's why it's in that order: love yourself, love others, love the world. You can't love others if you don't take care of yourself, if you're not healthy. And so the thing that I would tell my younger self, and everyone listen, take care of yourself, make time for yourself, go out in nature, do that first, and then connect with others, share your truth, share your love. Make time not to just share the bad things and all the negative things going on in the world, but share the good things too. Like sometimes we focus on all the negative, but I think gratitude is so important. And that's something I didn't mention. I write in a gratitude journal every morning to say the things that I'm grateful for. So I think self-love and gratitude would be the biggest things I would want to leave with you. And also just thank you. And I know your community knows like how amazing it is that you have this podcast where you're sharing not only of yourself, but people like me and all your other guests. And I think that is community, and that is healing, and we need more of that. So thank you for having me on, and thank you for providing this platform so people can feel loved.
Oh my gosh, our honor.
Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet. We've never had anybody thank us like that. So
Thank
Yeah.
you so much,
Thank
Koya.
well, take care of yourself, all right,
Yeah.
after
Thank
your
you.
travels.
Fill your cup.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to go
Yeah.
fill my cup. I'm going to go outside and walk along the beach.
Oh gosh, now I'm
That
jealous.
muscles, yes.
Okay, Koya. Well, we will talk to you soon, and can't wait to get your book. What's the date that it's released?
It's going to be released June the 11th, and
Okay.
I can send you guys that release copy, or I can also send you a galley. So I'll talk to you guys later and see
We
what
would
you
love
like.
that. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye,
All
Koya.
right, bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Everyday Therapy Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and share with your friends. It really helps us reach more people.
We might only record once a week, but we're with you every day.